I am recording now, so yeah, just stop those. Maybe could you tell us, where you were born, where you were educated, very quickly, and then we'll move quickly to when you first knew Arthur.
Right, yeah. Well, my maiden name was Wilkinson, Merla Wilkinson. I was born in a maternity hospital, Nicholson Road, Subiaco, on the 27th of April 1923. We lived in Subiaco and I was educated at Subiaco Primary School, and from there I went to Perth Girls' School and was in the initial girls that started there, where the police department are now. That was opened in September 1936, and I went there to Perth Girls, and then from there to Underwood's Business College.
Everyone went to Underwood's Business College, all well trained.
It was a good college.
Yeah.
They managed to educate me. I worked for Married Merla March at Perth Darwin Air Service for 5 years, all during the war. And then, of course, when Arthur came home and got married, I left there and went to live in the country. So,
as a banker's wife?
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yes.
Well, let's backtrack now to when you first met Arthur.
Well, I first met Arthur in I almost got the year right then. My brother and Arthur were selected in the state schoolboys football team to play in Adelaide, and Arthur met my brother then for the first time, became friends, and it was through my brother that I met him. I was 14 and Arthur was 15, and they played for West Subiaco Metropolitan Junior Football Team, and Arthur used to call for Alan on his way to football training on a Sunday morning. So it was only just, he was my brother's friend, you know, and at that age I wasn't all that interested in boys anyhow. But Arthur went to the country in the bank. This was before he joined up, and he was a very good letter writer, and he used to write letters to me and I'd write back. But there was nothing in it actually, it was only just, he was still my brother's friend. But after Arthur joined the Navy, and I of course was a bit old then, I was 17 and I was starting to look at boys. And I thought, this sailor wasn't too bad after all. And at the same time I had my mother telling me that Arthur's a nice boy. So I looked at him more. And really the romance started after he joined the Navy, and once again when he went away, all the letter writing went on. So I suppose in a way you could say it was romance through correspondence.
Did you see him at any time when he was in uniform?
Yes.
Did he come back to Perth?
He came back on leave, and I saw him, he was only home for a couple of weeks. And then when he went back, and then they sent him to Sydney, and the next time I saw him, letters were still going. When he when the Perth came into Fremantle, and he was here for a couple of days, that was my next. We saw quite a fair bit of each other then. The only thing was, I had joined voluntary aid detachment on a voluntary basis, not a permanent basis, and that he was in, I can remember it was a Thursday night, and I had my voluntary aid detachment meeting that night, so I went to it and then he picked me up afterwards. So once again it was only for a few hours that I saw him, and then on the Friday the ship was supposed to sail, and of course they didn't leave until after midnight on the Saturday, and then I never saw him.
It was Friday the 13th of the month.
It was Friday the 13th.
Of what?
February.
February 1941.
42.
42, sorry, yes, of course.
Yeah. And they sailed after midnight. I tried to get through. You could ring the ship and speak to the sailors.
Really?
And I tried to get through to him, but of course the phone was engaged all the time. And that day, my cousin, who was engaged to one of the 2nd, 4th machine gun boys, had word to say that he had been wounded in battle and had lost a leg. So my mother and I were catching a tram from Subiaco to Victoria Park to go and see her. So I had to abandon my chance of trying to talk to Arthur to go and see Joy. And of course they sailed after midnight, and then I never saw him again for 2.5 years.
Yes. Just briefly, what was the name of the 2nd and 4th machine gun?
His name was Milton Wanky, or his correct name was Eric Wanky.
Oh, Lieutenant. Lieutenant.
Yeah, he only died 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, he lost his leg
Yeah.
in battle before and then became a prisoner of war, so it
Yes.
must have been very difficult. But Joy didn't marry him. She met an American and married him before Milton came back.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that happened during wartime.
Yes, well, I know of Granky.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when did you first know that Arthur was a prisoner of war?
Well, not for 8 months afterwards. And the Japanese used to just, on radio, broadcast a few names each day of who their prisoners of war were. And I had a friend who lived in Fremantle who used to listen. And she rang me at work because naturally in those days we didn't have phones at home. And she rang me at 9 o'clock in the morning to say that she had heard Arthur's name come over, that he was a prisoner of war. So I flew into my boss, at the time was Cyril Gare, and I told him, and he said, do you want to go and tell his parents? And I said, I'd love to. So he gave me time off work, and I got on a tram, went out to Subiaco, got off at Townsend Road and ran all the way to their place.
Yes.
They lived across the road from Subiaco Oval.
Yes.
And ran in the door, knocked on the door. Arthur's safe, he's a prisoner of war. I mean, that was the first word we had in the 8 months. And then later on, his mother and father got the official telegram from the Navy to say that he was a prisoner of war.
Yeah. So, around what date's that?
Well, that was the October.
October 42.
Yeah, October 42.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to happen in October, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So you then had another, well, 2 years at least.
2 years.
Of not knowing
Not knowing.
anything.
And we were allowed to write.
Return to sender, address unknown.
Oh yes, I started. I must tell you one little thing of interest. These letters that I had written to Arthur that were never delivered and came back, returned to sender, I've still got them. In one of the letters, which was on the about the 8th of March, I had said to Arthur that the Japanese had claimed they had sunk the Perth. But the Prime Minister at the time, John Curtin, came on radio and said the Perth had not been sunk. Now this was a week after it was sunk. But then of course later it was confirmed that it had been sunk, and then his mum and dad got that telegram, missing in action. And so it wasn't until the October, in all that time, we never ever lost faith that he was, that he wasn't alive. His mum and dad were saying we were very strong in our faith that he was still alive. And then when we got this, phone call, couldn't believe it. And then once it was confirmed by the Navy that he was a prisoner of war, we were allowed to write 25 words every 2 weeks. That's all we were allowed to write. And then we sent it to an address in Melbourne, and just on the top you had to put prisoner of war.
Yes.
And out of all the letters that his mother wrote, I think you received 3, was it, from her?
Yeah.
And he got 2 from me
Yes.
in Singapore just before he went on board the Rakuyo Maru.
Oh.
All that time.
Yes.
But in his cards, I think his mother got 3 cards from him. He would put he was only allowed to write a few words too. He put love to Merla, so I thought, well, he's still thinking about
Yes,
me.
yes, yeah.
But I kept myself busy, well, not only with the VADs, but with work. And also I played a lot of sport, hockey and tennis, and you know, you kept yourself very busy. And of course, we had canteens for the visiting servicemen, which we girls went to, and you helped the boys that were passing through. They used to pop in there for meals, and then they'd have a dance. So we had a lot to do to keep it going, as well as knitting socks for soldiers and that sort of thing. Yeah.
And you know, now you've got the message by telephone telling you of the radio message.
Yeah.
What was the next time that you had some positive information about?
Well, when his first card came to his mother and father, which was, well, would have been at least 12 months after we had word that he was a POW. And so the only news really we had that he was still alive and still okay with these 3 cards that his parents got. And then the next word that we got was when they got a telegram from the Navy saying your son is safe in Allied hands. And that was it. And then his mum and dad, we all had to just wait and find out how. We thought he must have escaped, you know. We didn't know where he was a POW. We just knew he was in Japanese hands, but didn't know where.
In Allied hands?
No, this is when he was a POW.
Oh, initially, yes.
Yeah, initially.
Yeah,
we didn't know where he was.
Yes, yeah.
And but then when this telegram came, safe in Allied hands, oh, you can imagine the joy in the family and the excitement. And then having to wait to find out what it was all about. And we've got newspaper cuttings there, you know, that we've kept from the West Australian, saying that he was safe, but didn't know how.
And how long was it till you had some better information?
Well, I can't remember, and unfortunately we didn't put the date on the newspaper cuttings. You know how you
cut it
do
out.
it. And I cannot remember the actual date that they got the telegram, but it must have been soon after he was picked up by the Queenfish. And then it was about, I would say, 10 days to a fortnight later to say that he was in Brisbane and would be being transported home. And it was about 4 days.
You have forgotten that important thing.
Oh yes, in the meantime I received a letter written by Arthur on board the, before he got to
American
Transport, before he got to Guadalcanal, and I've still got the letter, and he said that he was safe in that, he was now safe in Allied hands.
Now a free man.
Now a free man. Have you married a Yank yet?
You had to strike while the iron's hot.
He said, if not, I'm on my way home. And I've still got the letter down there, Peter. I can show it to you.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. So that was, I've got the date on the letter. That was written in, towards the end of September. So that was another way I knew definitely that he would. And the letter's written on American
letterhead or paper,
in pencil.
Yes.
And I've still got it.
So what was the first time you saw him then?
Well, the first time was when he arrived back on the 25th of October, when the
44.
Yeah, 44. When the Red Cross brought his mum and dad and Arthur back home to Subiaco Road.
Yes.
And his sister Bub was there, my mum and myself. His other sister Wynne was in the Air Force away in Melbourne. And we were anxiously sitting, waiting, listening for a car to arrive. And that
Because my parents had another brother up in Borneo in the army, and another Air Force bloke up, brother up in...
Yeah, they were all away.
So little Arthur was the first one to get home.
And so the excitement was great, and of course we were firing questions at the poor boy. He said now, Arthur says he really can't remember the night he arrived home at all.
No.
Yeah. I do remember one thing about it, Peter. We lived in Hasteby Road, which was down towards Kings Park, and he wanted to walk Mum and I home, and we said, no, you're not going to. You stay here with your Mum and Dad. But in those days you could walk quite safely at 11. I think we left about 11 o'clock. From memory, it was round about 8 o'clock, 8:30 when he got home. And we left about 11 o'clock. And then next day, of course, I had to go to work. And so he met me, came in and met me after work. But I must tell you, when Arthur was saying how lonely he was, when I look back now, I wonder how he managed to keep a level head. People were knocking at the door. Did you know so-and-so? He had piles and piles of letters arriving. Did you know my son, or did you know my husband? And this went on for weeks. And at the same time, he was trying to visit the parents of
his mates. And one of them was Lofty's mother. And he got his mother to go with him because she knew her too. And he had to tell her that, he had to leave Lofty behind. And she said to him, why didn't you make him go with you? He said, I couldn't. But what he must have gone through then, it's hard to imagine having to tell people if he knew.
What about the woman that came round to see me at home and wanted to know about the fiancé?
Oh, yes. This girl had been engaged to one of the boys on the Perth. And Arthur was sort of going up the road and she was coming towards him. And she stopped and she said, oh, did you know so-and-so, on the Perth? And Arthur said, yes, I did. And she said, could you tell me, how he is? And Arthur said that they had made a pact, the four of them, that they would be honest with the person, whoever asked them, rather than hedge around and say, oh, well, he seemed to be all right last time I saw him. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, he won't be coming home. We lost him on the Burma Railway. And you can imagine what it did to her. But go on with that story. 2 weeks later, Arthur saw her engagement in the paper to somebody else. So I mean, this is the sort of thing.
Yes. But one can only speculate.
That's right. Yes.
Now I'm going to ask you a difficult question. What's it like living with a ex-prisoner of war? There must be. I've got to try and sort of tell you.
I'm not listening.
No, I want to know about, for example, do they have malaria sweats? Did in the earlier days?
Yes.
Or, do they have nightmares? Do they fling around?
Well, I can honestly say I can't remember Arthur having, after, we got married, having nightmares, which was, as I say, only 5-6 months after he came back. But